Welcome back to the channel. I'm excited. I haven't done a podcast in quite some time. It's been months. And we've got a reoccurring guest on the channel, Hopeful Ballistics. It's always fun to see him on, and I appreciate him spending some time. And what we're going to talk about today is cartridges, specifically the company's worst and best cartridges. So what companies we're going to cover is Remington, Winchester, Hornady/Ruger, Weatherby, Nosler. I don't think there's any others, are there? Other than
I think that's it.
random ones, but yeah, we'll go ahead and start with Remington. And real quick, I just want to show you guys all of the Remington, not all of them. I guarantee I've missed a few, but let's just pull it up. Oh, there's Nosler. And here's Remington. If I can count right, I think Remington has at least put out 29 cartridges. And I think they've just thrown stuff at the wall to see what sticks, because there's a lot of stinkers on this list that just are completely dead, really. So, Hopeful Ballistics, what's the worst Remington cartridge in your opinion?
So this is pretty tough for me. I can find value in just about every cartridge. I picked the 22 BR. Not that it's bad or anything, but I just feel like if you want a round that's geared toward target shooting to be ultra accurate, you really should get a heavier bullet to get out there a little bit at a further distance. I mean, so like a 6mm BR would make a lot more sense. You can get out there at 1,000 yards. So I just feel like it's a cool cartridge. It's very accurate, but if I had to pick one, it would be that one.
Okay. And it seems like Remington really loves 22 caliber. Look how many there are. I'm going to stay with the same caliber, but a different cartridge. I'm going to pick the Triple Deuce Remington, not the Magnum. I see some viability with the Triple Deuce Remington Mag because it was the parent case to the 204 Ruger. That's about it. But I just see no use for the 222 Remington, especially with the 223 Remington. So I think 22 Remington is a really irrelevant, useless cartridge, in my opinion. What is the best Remington cartridge?
This was equally tough. There's some really good ones. They did several that were really good, but just were not popular at all. And so it's a tough call. If I absolutely had to pick one, which obviously I do, I guess I'm going to go with the 7mm 08.
Okay.
It's just a very obvious cartridge to get Sammy spec'd. I'm kind of shocked that someone else didn't do it sooner. The 280 Remington's another good one, but that 7mm 08, just taking that very versatile 7mm bullet, putting it in that awesome, efficient 308 case, just an easy pick and a match made in heaven. So if I had to pick one, that would be the one.
Okay. I've narrowed it down to two. And I am going to pick, I think the best Remington cartridge is the 7mm Remington Magnum. Just with the success it's had, the history. I mean, it came out with the classic Remington 700 rifle, and it's still extremely popular today. It's a do-it-all Magnum with not a ton of recoil. You're going to have better performance than a 30-06 with roughly the same recoil. So I think Remington hit a home run with the 7 mag. That's my pick. Okay, let's move on. I believe we are to Winchester now. Okay, Hopeful Ballistics, what's the worst Winchester cartridge?
So I get what they were going for, but the WSSM cartridges, I think, was not a good idea. It's just too much. I'm a big fan of short, fat cartridges, but not that short, not that fat. And of the three that I know of, the worst, I would say, is the 223 WSSM. At least it was the fastest. At least it beat out the 22-250 on velocity. But to me, it's just an extreme case of something that you don't need. So definitely that one's my least favorite.
Okay. Me and you are thinking alike. I narrowed it down to those three. The WSSM cartridges, they're pretty much dead. For me, it was between a 243 and a 25 WSSM. And I'm going to pick 25 WSSM. There's just, when you got a 25-06, it's really not a whole reason to get a 25 WSSM. And they're basically dead. Funny enough, my nephew killed a doe mule deer with a 25 WSSM last year, surprisingly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was like, wait, there's a 25 WSSM? But yeah, that's a friend of my brother's had that cartridge, so that's what he used.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, what is the best Winchester cartridge? And this one could be tough too.
This is extremely tough. So I'm a huge fan of the 308, huge fan of the 284 Winchester. Personal favorite of mine is a 270 short mag. But just based on just putting it all together, innovation, and just taking a lot of things that already existed and putting it all together, I think the 6.8 Western is to date their best cartridge. It's got what the 270 short mag has, but it's just tweaked a little bit. It's more versatile. I'm not saying I personally like it as much as the 270 short mag, but I just think, just as objective as I can possibly be, it's the best Winchester cartridge. Not saying it's going to be popular. So if you're basing this on availability, and popularity and success, a couple years from now, someone might watch this and laugh. But man, it's just an excellent design.
Okay, so for me, I narrowed it down to two: 300 Winchester Magnum and 308 Winchester. I'm gonna have to go with the 308 Winchester, and maybe I'm more heavily leaning towards cartridges that have had more success, but the 308 really is a do-it-all cartridge for North America. Yes, it's a little light for elk, but shoot it within 300 yards and it's awesome, right? It's in every single gun. It's the cheapest ammo you can buy. So if you're not a reloader, it's extremely inherently accurate, I believe, in my opinion. And yeah, you just can't go wrong with the 308 Winchester. Absolute home run. Helps that it was a military cartridge, obviously. But yeah, I think that's Winchester's best cartridge.
I guess I'm thinking about the design of the cartridge more than the success of it. But if you're looking at success, it's definitely either the 308 or the 300 Win.
Well, look at the design of the 308. It is not by any means like your grandpa's cartridge or a Elmer Fudd cartridge. It's extremely efficient. It's mostly a modern design. Yes, the shoulder could be sharper, but it holds up in 2023 extremely well. Okay, time to move on to Hornady / Ruger. Okay, what is the worst Hornady cartridge?
I think they're all pretty good, but the 300 RCM is my least favorite. I really don't think it was what they claimed it was. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's very similar to the 300 WSM, 300 SOM, but that's the whole thing, is that they acted like it's something new and better than had existed before. And you could get it in a 20-inch barrel and get 30-6 velocity, which is correct, but you could do that with any short mag. And I think the thing that they were really focused on was the Superformance that maybe hadn't come out commercially yet, but they were using that. But once again, you can get Superformance and put it in a 300 Win Mag. I'm sorry, 300 WSM or a 300 SOM and get the same thing. In fact, the WSM cartridge has more case capacity. So I think the 300 RCM is a good cartridge, but I don't think it was ever, as good as it claimed to be. So I don't think it's really anything to write home about.
Okay. I'm going to go with another 30 caliber. I think this is the most irrelevant cartridge that Hornady's ever made is the 30 TC. The only thing relevant about it is that it is the parent case to the 6.5 Creedmoor. That's it. Now, Hornady, its goal was to provide this better version of a 308 that could match 30-06 performance in this little case. But I have my doubts that it could actually match a 30-06. It's extremely efficient, but I don't know a single person that ever really talks about it or let alone has one. So 30 TC, I think, is Hornady's worst cartridge. Okay, what's the best cartridge?
All right, so I think the culmination of all their successes, all the things they've learned as they've been developing cartridges with whether it's Thompson Center or Ruger or by themselves, I think it's all came to the 7mm PRC. I think it's just encapsulates everything that they've been doing, and it's just really a great cartridge. It's, you know, the ballistic twin, I would say, of a 7 Rim Mag, but a lot more modern take on it. And I definitely think it's a great design. So I think they've had several good ones, but if I had to pick one, it'd be the 7 PRC.
Okay. This one was tough for me to pick. There's a lot of good Ruger Hornady cartridges. I'm going to go with 6.5 PRC. The reason I pick that is I just can't pick the 6.5 Creedmoor, and the 6.5 PRC is just a better version of that. All of the little shortcomings of the 6.5 Creedmoor of, well, it's not going real fast. It's not ideal hunting cartridge. Well, the 6.5 PRC fixes that, right? By going 200 to 250 feet per second faster. And I don't know about you, but it's the only rifles I ever see at the gun store are 6.5 PRC. They're selling like hotcakes. Everyone loves it. And yeah, it's going to be here for a long time. So I think it's their best cartridge. Let's move on to Weatherby. Let me pull up the list of Weatherby cartridges. And Hopeful Ballistics, go ahead and share what the worst Weatherby cartridge is.
Well, there's several of them that I just don't personally care anything for, like a 3378 Weatherby, a 460 Weatherby, these monstrosities. I just have zero use for them. They're cool in a way to me, I guess. But if you're going to have a Weatherby cartridge, it needs to be like the fastest. It needs to go the fastest. I almost picked the 375, but I ended up going with the 224 Weatherby. Someone might correct me if I'm wrong. You might know as well, but I don't think it really does anything that 22-250 can't do. It might be about the same, but it's really not doing anything. You know, it's not, you know, much faster than the 22-250 or the 220 Swift. So it seems like they could have maybe put a little bit more into it if they want that fastest cartridge in every caliber. But I guess I'll go with the 224 Weatherby.
Okay. We think alike. So I really narrowed it down between the 224 and the 240. I guess I'm just not the biggest fan of 6mm, and that's what the 240 Weatherby is. It's just a hot rodded version of a 243 Winchester, but it should be going quicker. It's only about 200 feet per second faster than a 243 with quite a bit bigger case. Number one most irrelevant Weatherby cartridge for me is the 224 Weatherby. They don't even sell rifles in it anymore. Although there is brass at my local store for 224 Weatherby. And it's like, man, why can't it be 257 Weatherby or 300? Something a little more relevant.
Right.
Of course, it's still there. It's been there for like 3 years because no one has a 224 Weatherby. But
yeah, right.
okay, so what is the best Weatherby cartridge in your opinion?
I'm a big fan of the 257. I really like the RPMs, both the 6.5 and the 338. But I'd have to say the best is a 300 Weatherby. To me personally, it's just better than the 300 Win Mag. If you want that longer action, whether it's a long action or a Magnum action, 30 cal Magnum, the 300 Weatherby is just the way to go. I just think they just nailed it on that cartridge. There's a lot of good ones, but I would pick that one.
Okay. I'm going to throw a little curveball here because everyone's probably thinking I'm going to say 300 Weatherby, but I'm not. Um, the more I think about it, the granddaddy of them all, the just king of 30 caliber, I'm going 378 Weatherby Magnum. Yes, it's extremely inefficient. To really get its true potential, you need like a 30-inch barrel. But even with, as a hunting rifle with a 26-inch barrel, it's going to be 200 feet per second faster than a 300 Weatherby and about 100 feet per second faster than a 300 Rum. It's still the fastest. And because it's at the top for 30 caliber, that's my vote. That's the best one. If you want good barrel life, pick a different cartridge, but I still think it's a pretty sweet cartridge. Nosler cartridges. So which one's the worst one?
You know, I didn't realize until we started doing this that I'm picking the 22 caliber like in every single cartridge. But the 22 Nosler to me is the same thing. When I think of a Nosler cartridge, I actually like the design of them. They're pretty cool. That 35-degree shoulder angle. Basically, it's like a rum cartridge, a little shorter, lots of powder, really fast, and it's kind of a modern take on a Weatherby, kind of. Not, I mean, it's different, but the same philosophy. Just go get it going really fast. 22 Nosler, once again, it's just not really. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's below the velocity of a 22 250. It seems like a pretty cool case. Like I've got no problem with it, but I don't know if it's a stereotype or what. But when I think of a Weatherby or a Nosler, I just think of fast, and it seems like they just kind of missed it there. Like it don't really fit in with the rest of their cartridges. So if I had to pick one, it'd be the 22 Nosler.
Okay, so I'm thinking on the same kind of idea. Is when I think of Nosler, I think of fast Magnum. And yes, the 22 Nosler is not really a Magnum, but I think even worse is the 24 Nosler. So 24 Nosler is my pick. It's kind of like a 6mm arc. And well, I think the 6mm arc is a lot better. So yeah, I'm going to go with 24 Nosler as the worst Nosler cartridge. Let's move on to the best Nosler cartridge.
So I think most people would go with the 28 Nosler, and I could definitely see that. Me personally, I like the 27 Nosler. It's very similar to my 270 short mag, just longer. That's really the only difference. It's just a little bit longer. Definitely holds more case capacity. I think it's a 1 in 9 twist or 1 in 8.5 compared to like the 1 in 10 with the 270 short mag. So it's kind of like the 6.8 Western too, just once again longer. But the one thing about the 27 Nosler I like more than the other ones is it was the last one that they made of the bigger ones, and they had the neck be a little bit longer. So they backed up the shoulder just a little bit and gave it a longer neck and gave it that faster twist rate. So I think they made some good choices there. But you also got a ton of speed, a couple hundred feet per second faster than like the Weatherby or the WSM. So it's a pretty cool cartridge. Now, getting back to what you've been saying about success and popularity, it seems to be dead, but I'm just picking it because I really like the design.
Okay. That was my pick too. So I'm going with 27 Nosler. I think it's what the 270 Weatherby should have been. Yeah, I'm going with 27 Nosler. A lot of the same reasons. It's the fastest, so it seems fun to me. And it's got a faster twist rate, so you can shoot the highest VC bullets. And yeah, it's just kind of a shame that it's pretty much dead. I've seen ammo for it once in the last 3 years, and I don't know a single person that owns one. So, but I think it's arguably one of the best as a design and somewhat efficiency. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please go subscribe to Hopeful Ballistics. He produces a lot of great content. If you like talking about cartridges, he's your guy. And have a great evening.
Was there any of mine that you were like, whoa, that's a terrible pick? I'm just curious.
Um, shoot. What did you pick for Hornady?
The 7 PRC.
Okay, that's a
That's
good
the best.
No, it makes sense. I agree. Okay, okay. Winchester. That one surprised me
Yeah.
because I didn't know you're just going off of like what the best design cartridge is. I thought there'd be a little more to your because it's a good one, but it's dying.
Yeah. So the Triple Deuce, man, that's an awesome cartridge. But I don't disagree. I mean, it's dead. The 223 is probably better in every way, but the 222 was a very innovative cartridge from Remington and spawned several cartridges. I mean, it is the parent case to several cartridges. So
Okay.
I was a little shocked when you said that.
Well, you know what? There's so many to pick from. I was just
I
like,
know
this one that
it was
I
pretty tough.
really think is irrelevant. There's so many that are irrelevant now from
Yeah,
Remington.
there is,
But
including
there's a
some of the
lot
ones
of
I
great
thought were
ones.
best.
So